Hi, I'm State Senator Josh Becker from the 13th Senate District, covering most of San Mateo County and northern Santa Clara County. Thank you for being here today. I'm really excited for this because this is something I've been very interested in for a long time, this whole notion of asset building. How do we help families build assets so we can break generational cycles of poverty and give people assets to pursue an education and otherwise, for their lives or however they want. And so this is a program, again, I've been involved in this kind of general asset building space for many, many years, philanthropically through Full Circle Fund, which is a nonprofit that I ran, and working with great nonprofits like EARN, and something I really wanted to tackle when I got to the legislature. And so I was really excited when the governor also wanted to tackle this and expand on a small existing pilot program and really roll out this kind of investment and savings program to really a broader range of kids and families. And we'll hear about that today. And just more about the program, how it works, because it only launched last August. So I think a lot of people just don't know yet, how it works. And so we'll get into that. And that's really the whole point of this. And hopefully all your questions will be answered. We were just told there's about over 30,000 kids in San Mateo County that have $500 waiting for them in one of these accounts, and over 90,000 kids in Santa Clara County. And we're adding more newborns every year, as we'll talk about. So research shows that children with small amounts of savings are more likely to attend college than children without savings whatsoever. And over the past few years, the governor and the legislature have explored ways to promote household savings for families across the state of California. This led to the creation of this new program called CalKIDS to help fund college savings accounts for millions of children. And that's why it's really exciting and also, I think, kind of groundbreaking across the country. CalKIDS allows parents of newborns to receive up to $100, and low-income students receive between $500 and $1,500 that can be used later for college or career training. And again, hopefully this is really just the beginning of encouraging these savings accounts that will grow over time. These funds demonstrate a public commitment to our children's future and serve as a starting point to help families continue their savings journey to make higher education reality. Now it's up to us to make sure our students and families know about this resource and the state's investment in the future. Again, I'll just sort of say another big priority of mine has always been access to higher education. And for example, one thing is being on the founding trustee of UC Merced. It was our first new UC in over 30 years that now has up to 10,000 students and is ranked 5th in the country in terms of social mobility. So just another piece of that. Of course, free community college bill that I sponsored and got passed. We have now free community college in San Mateo County, truly free, no fees, anything. And so this is all part of this effort. So with that, I want to thank you all for being here and learning about the incredible opportunities the state is providing to help families save for higher education. We're pleased to partner with ScholarShare Investment Board to share information on CalKIDS. The ScholarShare Investment Board is a state agency chaired by State Treasurer Fiona Ma, with the primary responsibility of helping families save for college through California's official college savings plan, ScholarShare 529, again, which we'll learn about today. In August 2022, the board launched the new CalKIDS program with the aim of helping more families in California begin their savings journey. At this time, I want to introduce our speaker today, Noah Lightman, who's been involved from the very beginning of this program, the very beginning of this idea, and he serves as the program manager for CalKIDS, overseeing its development and implementation. Noah will share an overview of the CalKIDS program, talk about California's official college savings plan, ScholarShare 529, and answer any questions you might have. I look forward to the discussion here today. And again, thank you all for joining. And thank you to Noah. Noah, take it away.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Senator Becker, and Carrie and John and everyone on the team for helping make this happen. Appreciate and all the constituents in Senator Becker's district for taking time out of your day to learn a little bit more about college savings and efforts that the state is making. The senator was talking a moment before about asset building. That's really what this program is all about, because we're trying to look for innovative ways to help people advance and achieve upward economic mobility. So thank you again for taking the time to join, and let's dive right in. So first, I'm going to share my screen. If you give me 1 second. Awesome. So the program itself is called the California Kids Investment and Development Savings Program, CalKIDS for short. A few housekeeping items for today. Just a reminder that we're asking for attendees to be muted and cameras have been turned off. If you need the live caption feature, that's available in the menu bar. We're going to have a Q&A section at the end. I plan to speak for about 45 minutes, give or take, and allow some opportunity to answer some questions after. And then all of the information is available at calkids.org. So for today, what I'm going to do is introduce you what is CalKIDS. We're going to talk about eligibility, the various awards that we've created for students that are eligible for the program, how to go about registering a CalKIDS account, how to request a distribution if you're ready to use funds for higher education, how to open and link an individual ScholarShare 529 account where you can continue saving on your own as we talk about asset building and accumulating wealth and creating habits towards savings, and the various resources that are out there to make sure that you know how to get more information after we leave this presentation. And then again, I hope to answer some frequently asked questions that you all may have about the program. But before I dive into it, what I'd like to do is actually introduce a special guest, California State Treasurer Fiona Ma. Appreciate Senator Becker mentioning I work for the ScholarShare Investment Board. We're a small state agency overseen by the state treasurer. And so, as this program is launched, the treasurer likes to make, short introductions on, what the program is, and appreciate you all for being here.
Hello, I'm California State Treasurer Fiona Ma, and I serve as chair of the ScholarShare Investment Board, which oversees the CalKIDS program and California's official college savings plan, ScholarShare 529. I want to congratulate you all for taking this important step to learn about CalKIDS and how you can take advantage of this new program. CalKIDS is a statewide children's savings program that automatically creates accounts with seed deposits of $25 to $1,500 and other possible financial incentives for all babies born in the state beginning July 1st, 2022, and eligible low-income students in public schools. The program is designed to help families kickstart their college savings by leveraging the amount the state has invested in our children so that one day they can be prepared financially to pursue their educational aspirations. Studies have shown that children with money designated for college savings are 3 times more likely to enroll in college and 4 times more likely to graduate than children with no savings. Knowing the positive difference higher education and career development can have in their lives, it is vital that our students feel supported in their pursuit of these goals. CalKIDS builds on this research to provide families a starting point for building assets and working to make higher education attainable. CalKIDS is now the largest children's savings account program of its kind in this country, and I am proud of the investment the state of California is making to ensure that a higher education is within reach for everyone. I'd like to take a moment to give a special shout out to members of our ScholarShare Investment Board team for their efforts to make this program a reality. Executive Director Julio Martinez, Deputy Director Stan Zito, and Children's Savings Accounts Initiatives Manager Noah Lightman. Now I would like to hand it over to CalKIDS team to tell us more. Again, thank you for being here and for prioritizing college savings for your family. I look forward to supporting you on your savings journey. Hello.
Thank you so much, Treasurer Ma. Now let's introduce CalKIDS. So the California Kids Investment and Development Savings Program was created to help provide greater access to higher education for California's children. As you heard a moment ago, there's been a lot of research that's been done at schools like University of Michigan, Washington University in St. Louis, that have suggested that kids with $500 or less are going to be more likely to save for college than kids that didn't have any savings whatsoever. And so the idea with CalKIDS is, how do we set up a system that's really designed to give parents or legal guardians a starting point for saving for their children's education and career development? And as the senator so eloquently stated, how do we get them thinking about asset building? So you heard that the treasurer mentioned that CalKIDS is the largest program of its kind in the country. What do we mean by that? We've created accounts for 3.4 million eligible public school-age children in California. And as the senator mentioned, there's about 30,000 students in San Mateo County and about 94,000 students in Santa Clara County that have accounts that are sitting there waiting for them to be tapped into, letting them know, hey, this is a public investment that the state is making in these children. And then the idea with this program is we also enroll newborns. And so in California, there's about 450,000 newborns each year. And so, with 3.4 million low-income students and 450,000 newborns, we are the largest children's savings account program of its kind. So now what I'd like to do is share a short introduction video, a little bit more about how does the program work.
CalKIDS is a new state program designed to kickstart your child's future and increase access to higher education with free money for college. This program for Californians serves two groups, newborns and eligible low-income public school students in grades 1 through 12. All California babies born on or after July 1st of this year get a $25 seed deposit. If parents register through the online portal, they get an additional $25 in a CalKIDS account. And when they link an existing or new ScholarShare 529 college savings account, they get another $50 deposit. That's up to $100 in free money for newborns. Eligible low-income children enrolled in public schools in grades 1 through 12 receive a $500 seed deposit in a CalKIDS account. If they're in foster care, they can get an additional $500. And if they're homeless, they get another $500. That's up to $1,500. CalKIDS and the state of California want to help as many kids as possible get more opportunities through higher education with free money for college. To learn more and check your eligibility, visit calkids.org today.
Thanks for listening. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about how does the program work. But before I continue, what I actually want to do at this time is challenge the people that are here. What I want you to do is take a pen and paper out if you have one nearby and ask yourself, how are you saving for college? What I want you to do is at the end of the presentation, take a look back at whatever you wrote down and see, hey, is there more that you can add to this? But let's hop back into CalKIDS. So how does the program work? First, families need to determine whether or not they're eligible. Then what families can do is they can register and go onto their account to see the awards that we, the state, have provided for these students. And if the families choose to save on their own, not a requirement, they can link their own ScholarShare 529 account where they can continue adding savings of their own and really build that nest egg for higher education. And then when the student's ready, they can use a distribution for a qualified expense, like tuition, fees, books, and we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go on. So first, let's talk about eligibility. There's two unique groups for eligibility. We have newborns in the state and low-income students. What do we mean by each? So for newborns, eligibility is very straightforward. Each child born in California on or after July 1st of 2022, regardless of the family's income status, is eligible for the program. What happens is, as a birth happens, that information is collected by the State Department of Public Health, and then we get it roughly 90 days after the birth happens. So if you are expecting a newborn or you have a newborn, please wait about 3 months after the birth happens to check to see that this CalKIDS account has been created. Now for students, it's a little bit more nuanced, and let's dive into that. For low-income public school students, we identify low income as something called the local control funding formula. What do we mean by this? These are students who were eligible for free and reduced lunch through the National School Lunch Program. Maybe the family completed what's called an alternative household income form. Primarily, it's students that receive benefits through programs like CalFresh, CalWorks, Medi-Cal as well, or if the family was identified as migratory, foster, or homeless. And so what happens is the state of California takes a snapshot of students on something called Fall Academic Census Day. And that's the first Wednesday in October of each year. And schools take a tally of all the students that are enrolled, and then they send that information up to the State Department of Education. And so all the data that we get for students and identifying, hey, we can create an account for these students is based on the Department of Education getting that tally of students from low income backgrounds who are in public schools. And so how does it work? Going in a little bit deeper, what happens is we got this huge data set of students in 1st through 12th grade from the last academic year in 2021-2022. So the Fall Academic Census Day at that time was October 6, 2021. And the state said to us, okay, here are the 3.4 million kids who are determined to be low income based on this snapshot in time on October 6, 2021. And then the idea is that these kids in theory are 2nd graders through college freshmen right now, but in year 2 and beyond, we're going to continue enrolling students who are identified as low income when they reach 1st grade. And again, these are low income students in public schools, and we get that information based on an October snapshot of data taken during that Fall Academic Census Day. And so now that we're in this in-between period of we're dealing with kids from the last year of 1st through 12th graders, who are now in theory 2nd graders through college freshmen, we're going to continue adding these 1st graders. But if you're a parent of a 1st grader, please know that we're not going to get that child's information until a little bit later in the spring or summertime, once the California Department of Education has time to process that data and get it over to us. So there's a lot going on with eligibility, and what we try and do is make it as easy as possible for you. So we've put together this eligibility tool. It's on our website under the basics tabs. You'll see a section that says who is eligible. From there, you'll scroll down and you'll find whether you're looking for a newborn or a student. And we ask you to put in specified information. So for a newborn, we ask you to put your what's called the local registration number. And this can be found on your birth certificate. So you can see in the image, there's the snippet of the certificate of live birth. It's right there. It's about a 12-digit number. And you can find and type in your local registration number to see if you're newborn. And again, this is a newborn born in California on or after July 1st of 2022, if they've been in our system and if we've created an account for them. And if they're a student, if you're a parent of a student, you can check for your child's statewide student identifier. And this is a 10-digit number that every public school student is assigned, whether they go from one district to another district, that number stays with them. And so if you're not sure what your SSID number is, we encourage you to contact your school and see, hey, how can you find that information? Some schools, they put it on a parent portal. Others, it may be a transcript. Others, you might just need to call the front desk and see, hey, how can I find my child's SSID? So now that we've talked a little bit about eligibility, let's review the awards that are provided to these CalKIDS accounts. For newborns, we have the following structure. Every newborn in the state gets $25. And then if the parent just takes a simple step of going online to actually view their account, we give them another $25. And if the parent actually saves on their own by creating a ScholarShare 529 account and linking that account to their CalKIDS account, which we'll talk about a little bit later, so that they can see their balances in one place, we give them another $50. And that gives them the opportunity to have $100 right there from the state that will grow and can eventually be used for higher education. Now, let's look at the students. We say, no, $100 isn't enough. We give them $500. And if they're identified as either low income or foster, we give them another $500. So again, as Senator Becker was mentioning earlier on, there are about 30,000 students in San Mateo County and 94,000 students in Santa Clara County that have at least $500 that's just sitting for them, free money from the state of California that's there for the students' higher education purpose. Now it's up to us, and working with great partners like Senator Becker's office, to make sure that these families know that, hey, these funds are out there, they exist, you just got to go claim them. So how do you do that? How do you claim your account and register? Let's talk about that. After determining eligibility, we're aware of the seat amounts available, you got to go online and register. So first, what you do is you go to calkids.org. From there, you're going to see a register button, and we ask for 3 unique identifiers that are needed to register an account. And they vary a little bit differently between newborns and students, so bear with me. So for a newborn, what do you need? You need that local registration number that we were talking about before. Again, if you have your newborn's birth certificate, you can just pull it up, look for the local registration number, and then you can plug it in right there. But if you don't have that number, we are actually in the process of sending out notification letters, letters that look something like this, to all parents of newborns across the state. And on that notification letter, which is in English and Spanish, we've put a unique code on it. And that unique code can be used to register. So again, if you don't have your birth certificate handy and you do receive a letter, don't throw it out, use that unique code. We have a QR code so you can easily scan, go onto our website, and then you can use the code to register. And then we also ask for the child's date of birth, as well as the county that the birth was registered. And again, we mentioned this before, please allow about 90 days after the birth happens to actually check for the CalKIDS account, because this is just, that by the time we get the data from the Department of Public Health. So now what's needed to register for a student? Similarly, we ask for a statewide student identifier. Again, this is that 10-digit code that sticks with a public school student throughout their entire academic term in the K through 12 system. And so if you don't know this number, call your school, ask them, hey, where can I find my child's SSID? Again, this could be on a parent portal or on a transcript, but your school should be able to have that information. But if you don't know your SSID, we're also in the process, again, of sending out notification letters. And on these letters, just like the newborns, we have that unique code. So we're sending out letters in batches. And so we really just started sending out at the beginning of the new year. And if you haven't received a letter yet, that's why you can go and find out your SSID and don't feel like you have to wait for the letter in order to sign in and view your CalKIDS account. And then we also ask for the student's date of birth. And then we asked for the county where the student was enrolled on that particular fall academic census day. Again, I mentioned before, the data that we get is based on a snapshot in time. And that snapshot happens on this first Wednesday in October of each calendar academic year. And so for this first cohort of students, that census day was October 6, 2021. And again, just a reminder, if you have a child that's in first grade right now, they won't have a CalKIDS account created quite yet. We're waiting for that data until later in the spring, summertime, in order to get that from the Department of Education. So just hold on a little bit longer, but if your child was in 1st through 12th grade last year, so really maybe a 2nd grader through college freshman right now, that date that we're looking for is what county did they go to school in on October 6, 2021. So I've talked a little bit about how to register, but we like videos with our program. So we're going to summarize this in a nice video that will hopefully make it a little bit easier to understand. And also I want to make sure you're aware that all of our videos are available in English and Spanish, and we have that on our YouTube channel, which I'll go over towards the end.
By registering now with CalKIDS, you are taking a big step towards saving for college or other forms of career training. This short video will guide you through the steps for setting up an account at calkids.org. It only takes a few minutes. Before we get started, it's a good idea to gather the information you'll need. For a newborn participant, you'll need the name of the county where your child's birth was registered and their date of birth. You'll also need either your child's local registration number, which you can find on their birth certificate here, or their unique CalKIDS code found on the letter we sent you or that you may receive in the mail soon. If you're registering for or as a student, you'll need the name of the county where the student is enrolled in school, their date of birth, and a registration code, which is either a statewide student identifier, SSID, which you can get from the student's school, or the unique CalKIDS code found in the letter we sent you or that you may receive in the mail soon. Now would be a good time to pause the video and gather this information. And keep that registration code at your fingertips. You'll need it all shortly. All right, now that you have all the necessary information ready, let's get you registered on calkids.org. Welcome to the CalKIDS online portal. Here's where you'll need those details you gathered earlier. Begin by entering the county information. Remember, for newborns, you'll enter the county where their birth was registered. And for students, you'll enter the county where they attended school as of Fall Academic Census Day, 2021, which was October 6, 2021. Next, enter the date of birth. And finally, the registration code. For newborns, that's the local registration number found on their birth certificate. For students, that's the statewide student identifier, SSID. Or, for both newborns and students, the unique code found in the CalKIDS letter we sent you or that you may receive in the mail soon. Now, click Register. You're doing great. Just one more step and you're all set. Create your user profile on this page. If you're setting this account up for yourself, select Child. If you're a parent or guardian setting an account up for your child, select Parent/Guardian. Then, fill in your information and select a password in the fields provided. Remember to make a note of your username and password for safekeeping. Click Create a User Profile and, well done! You have successfully registered your CalKIDS account. From this page, you can view the account balance, update your contact information, link this account to a ScholarShare 529 account, make a disbursement, or add another CalKIDS account. For step-by-step instructions on how to link this account to your ScholarShare 529 account, watch the How to Link Your Account video.
Great, thanks for sticking with us. So now that you've seen how do you actually log in and register, we want to talk about a really important aspect of how do you actually use your money. And in our terminology, we call it making a distribution request. So there's a few parameters around making a distribution. First, the student needs to be at least 17 years of age. So if you're a parent and you have a child who's 15, for example, the money at that time is going to continue to grow and eventually be used for higher education. But in order to actually use the funds, the child needs to be at least 17. And the child can use the funds up until they're age 26. So we recognize that higher education may not be the first focus immediately after high school. And so the child is given a few years after high school to be able to use the funds. Then they have to actually be enrolled at the eligible institution. So you can't use the funds for an application fee, for example, but let's say you are going to a community college or a CSU or UC or another school, and you're actually enrolled, whether it's your first year or you're taking dual classes while you're in high school, then you can use the funds. And there are thousands of colleges that are eligible for these programs, in-state, out-of-state, private, public, in the country, out of the country. Really, it's any school that's eligible to participate in federal financial aid programs in the FAFSA program. And so what happens is when the student is ready, they make a request through our online portal at calkids.org. We also do not ask for a taxpayer identification number. We often get the question if undocumented families can participate. During this process, yes, we do not ask for a social security number, and we also don't ask for an individual taxpayer identification number. This is money that's been designated for the student, and when they're ready, they can use the funds, and they can use all or a portion of the funds as they like. And the funds are sent directly to the school. And it's treated like any other scholarship would be treated. This is essentially a scholarship from the state of California saying that every student is eligible for college, and we believe in your ability to pursue higher education. So what can you use funds to pay for? A wide variety of expenses like tuition and related fees, books and other supplies, certain room and board costs, computer equipment. Again, everything has to go through the school. So when you make a request and you're saying, I'm going to school X or I'm going to school Y, we're actually required by state law to send the funds directly to the school. And so we ask that you check in with your school to let them know, hey, you just sent in a CalKIDS check. The school should be receiving it soon. And if you want to pay for certain expenses, make sure you're working with the school on how to best process that. So how do you actually go about requesting a distribution? You go into our online portal, calkids.org, and you'll see that select request distribution button. And then once you're there, you'll complete all the required information. It'll ask, for your student ID, if they'll ask for your memo, if you want to say anything in your school that, hey, these funds are for books or these funds are for tuition. And then once approved, we send a check directly to the school. So now the last thing that we want to talk about is how do you go about continuing to save on your own? We've talked a bit about, how does the CalKIDS program work? From eligibility to how do you log on and view your account, to making a distribution request and actually using that state money. But as the senator was talking about before, families, need to think about asset building. And how do you continue your nest egg to keep saving in the long term? And so we, as the state ScholarShare Investment Board, administer something called ScholarShare 529, which is the state's official college savings plan. What is a 529 plan, though? A 529 plan is an account that allows you to invest specifically for future higher education expenses. Earnings grow tax deferred, which means that you have more money for college that you're not paying taxes on. And then when you're ready to make a distribution request and say, hey, I've put in $100 every month for the last 18 years, those distributions are tax-free when you use those funds for higher education expenses. And these can include books, supplies, required equipment, certain room and board costs. And ScholarShare 529 is open to anyone who's a US citizen, who's at least or resident at least 18 years of age or older. And so for the CalKIDS program, in order to tap into those state funds, we don't ask for a taxpayer identification number. But if you do want to continue saving on your own, you will need a valid social security number or a taxpayer identification number to establish a 529 account. And so again, I want to emphasize that this is not a requirement for the CalKIDS program, but if you want to continue saving on your own, beyond that initial seed that the state is providing through CalKIDS, ScholarShare 529 is an option. So a little bit more about us, we're, like I said before, we are the official college savings plan of the state. We have a track record of more than 20 years helping families pay for college. We manage over $11 billion in assets. We're also one of the largest 529 plans in the country. And this is a program that's overseen by the ScholarShare Investment Board, which is chaired by State Treasurer Fiona Ma. And this is, helpful to know so that you're aware that these are overseen. There's a public process in overseeing this program. So how does the ScholarShare 529 plan work? Simply, you open an account online, you make contributions that are post-tax. And then any earnings from that can grow tax deferred. And when you're ready, you can distribute funds and they are tax-free. And so if we take a look at the potential advantage of saving through ScholarShare versus another account, you can see that, hey, $1 today might be more in the future if you save through ScholarShare. A taxable investment also is going to eat up more money so that you have less money to pay for tuition, fees, repaying student loans. But if you take advantage of this tax advantage investment vehicle, you're going to have more money for higher education. And how does that relate to the CalKIDS? If you want, you can continue saving on your own. And through your online portal, we give you the option of linking your two accounts so that you can see both of your savings balances in one place. And if you need more information on that, we actually have a video in both English and Spanish on our YouTube channel that shows you exactly how you'd go about linking your accounts so you can see both balances in one place. But along with ScholarShare, we have a lot of opportunities to really make the most of your savings. You might have remembered from before, we had that $50 incentive for parents of newborns to link a ScholarShare account. So for every newborn, we give them $25. And if they register, we give them another $25. But if the family shows that they're starting from the earliest point of a child's, onset into life, we give them another $50 for linking a ScholarShare account. With ScholarShare, we also have a great program called UGift, and this encourages families and friends to contribute to your child's savings account. This is like crowdsourcing, essentially. So if you have a child and you say, hey, for my child's birthday, instead of giving them toys, why don't you contribute to their college savings? This is an option through ScholarShare. And so if you need additional information, please visit scholarshare529.com. And we also have investment consultants who are able to talk with you one-on-one in both English and Spanish. And you can find that information on scholarshare529.com or email us afterwards, and we're happy to help set you up. So let's review for a moment. We've talked a little bit about eligibility, the program awards, registration, how to open and link a ScholarShare account, the use of the funds as well. Oh, sorry, the animation skipped there for a second. But now let's talk a little bit about the resources that are available, because we recognize that that's a lot of information to go over. So if you didn't get everything, we have on our website, calkids.org, all of the information. We also have a YouTube page. We have various social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook. We also have a call center. And so that number is listed right there. It's also on our website, and they're available in English, Spanish, as well as other languages if needed, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And if you have more questions, feel free to email us at support@calkids.org. Now, if you're a school or a community-based organization in the audience today, we also have other resources. We have an online toolkit with flyers, newsletter copies, social media images, and we would love your help in partnering to get the word out about this program. Feel free to email one of our other email accounts, calkidsadmin@calkids.org, and we'd be happy to work with you on setting up a webinar just like this to make sure that families in your community know about this resource. So now what I'd like to do is talk about some of the most frequently asked questions that we get as part of this program. And everything is available on our website in our FAQ page. So first, how can I quickly determine eligibility? Again, this differentiates a little bit between newborns and students, but you visit calkids.org. We talked before, we have this basics tab, and there we have an eligibility tool where you see who is eligible for a CalKIDS account. And from there, for the newborns, they put in their local registration number. And for the students, you would put in your statewide student identifier, which again, if you're not familiar with, we encourage you to contact your school and see, hey, how can I find that SSID number? Will CalKIDS funds impact my ability to receive financial aid? This is a really wonderful question that we get asked all the time. The CalKIDS program is really considered just a scholarship from the state of California. So what we strongly encourage you to do is work with your school and your financial aid office to see how does the CalKIDS funds interact with all the other financial aid or scholarships that you may receive. But this is just treated like any other scholarship that your students and families would go out and try and get to make sure that they're really maximizing the resources to limit how much they pay for higher education. Will I need to provide a social security number or an individual taxpayer identification number? So again, the CalKIDS program does not require any taxpayer ID. We don't ask for the social security number to participate. We don't ask for an individual taxpayer, an ITIN number to participate. You can still claim your account and withdraw funds when you're ready. But if you are interested in continuing to save on your own through ScholarShare 529, you do need a taxpayer identification, whether it's an ITIN or a social security number. And then we also get asked, can I add money to the CalKIDS account? So no, you can't add directly to these accounts, but they continue savings, but you can continue saving through ScholarShare 529. And we talked a moment ago about what is a 529 plan, what is ScholarShare 529, what are the benefits of that? And then you can go and on your computer, you can link both accounts so you can see your ScholarShare balance and your CalKIDS balance all in one place. And this will be essentially your portal, your one-stop shop to see all of your college savings all at once. So with that, I really appreciate the opportunity to present and talk a lot with you about, what the state is doing to try and make higher education a bit more accessible for families. And again, to the point that Senator Becker was making at the beginning, how we can get families to think about asset building and really starting to achieve upward economic mobility. And so I challenged you at the beginning to, write for yourself, what are you doing to save for higher education? At this point, I hope you revisit that and ask yourself, okay, did I learn anything new that I could add to that? But at this point, before we close the presentation, what I'd like to do is answer some of the questions that you all have been submitting. And I know that we have a few in the chat, but Kari, before I take a peek, are there any that you want me to go over? Okay, I see Kari submitting two. Okay, I see the question. So why are kindergartner children not eligible? That's a great question. So the way that the program was structured was to try and get as many public school students as possible. And so unfortunately, kindergarten is not universal. And so they weren't directly there. But then the idea is that in ongoing years, we're going to continue adding low-income first graders. So when that kindergartner, if they are identified as low income, enters first grade, and we get that data from the Department of Education on that student, we're going to give them that $500. So eventually they'll be part of the program. But right now, it's structured in such a way that it's first through 12th graders. But once they hit first grade, we're going to get their information. Let's see. We're also asked, can a parent who is not a guardian establish and link a ScholarShare 529 account and link it to a CalKIDS account? That's a great question. Yes, the parent, the grandparent has the authority to go in and view the child's CalKIDS account, so long as they have the information and the consent of the student, and that they're the authority that's able to view these accounts. But also, one of the great things about 529s is a grandparent can create a ScholarShare 529 for their child, their grandchild. What they would do is the grandparent would list themselves as the account owner and list the grandchild as the beneficiary, and they can continue adding to the child's account. And if they ever feel the need to change account owners or change account beneficiaries, they're able to do that so long as it stays within the family. And if they want to link the account to the child's CalKIDS account, they can absolutely do that. They just need that child's information. I'm not seeing any other questions in the chat, but again, really appreciate the engagement and the opportunity to, oh, actually, I see one more question, a few more questions. Can they contribute to a 529 that apparently a parent already opened? So yes, you can continue contributing to any 529 account that you contributed to. However, if you want to link your account to the CalKIDS account, it must be a ScholarShare 529 account. So we recognize that some people may choose other 529 options that are out there. In order to link it to the CalKIDS account, it must be a ScholarShare account. And if you had an existing ScholarShare 529 account already created, that's even better. If it's existing, just follow the instructions, click the link ScholarShare 529 account, and you'll be able to do it. It doesn't necessarily have to be a new account. Okay, we have a question around the risk of these funds. The structure defaults the funds to be at risk and seems to transfer the money from people to make sure that, these funds, we want to make sure that these funds get to people. And so what we've done is we've structured these accounts in two different ways. And so for older students, we've made the accounts in an investment vehicle that's a bit more conservative. We give them an opportunity to earn a little bit of interest between 1% to 3%, but it's a guaranteed rate of return because we want to make sure that these students that are older have the funds directly there for when they're ready to go to college. But for the younger students, what we've done is we've put them in a portfolio that allows for more opportunity for growth when they're younger, and it gets more conservative as they're older. So this is called our enrollment year portfolio. And so we put newborns and we put 1st through 5th graders in these portfolios so that they can really maximize opportunities for investments when they're younger. And then as they get older and matriculate closer to college age, the accounts become more conservative so that they have that money that's designated for them. But if you choose to save on your own through ScholarShare 529, you can choose any investment account any investment option that you choose. This can range from a guaranteed rate of return if you're more conservative. This could be something more risky when we have fund options available for that. And you can also choose one of our most popular option, which is that enrollment year portfolio. And again, the way that works is you say, hey, this is the type, this is the year that I anticipate my child entering college or higher education. And the funds are more aggressive when they're younger and more conservative as they get closer to that year. And then we have another question around what are the types of schools that can be funded. So you can send funds to really any school that accepts FAFSA, federal financial aid funds. So this could be a community college, a CSU, a UC school. It doesn't even have to be in the state of California. You can use the funds for another school out of state or abroad. You can also use it for technical or vocational schools as well. Especially qualified apprenticeship programs. That's something that we are a strong believer in at the State Treasurer's Office. And so you can use CalKIDS funds for that. So with that, I don't have any more, I don't see any more questions, but really want to appreciate your time, taking time out of your day to learn a little bit more about college savings. I want to thank Senator Josh Becker for bringing this to your attention and letting you know, hey, these are funds that exist for the community. And these are out there that the state is investing in children, saying, hey, the state believes in your ability to pursue higher education. If you need help and support in getting there, here's a program to help you along your journey. Appreciate your help. And, thank you so much for being here. And with that, I think we're going to close the presentation. So have a wonderful rest of your day.